Alrighty. So here we are, of course, doing some more lovely art. This time we're going to spend about 30 minutes just copying this beautiful guy right here. This is, of course, a trilobite. Is it like that or is it like that? Let's go with that. A beautiful trilobite. We're just going to do our very best with the pencil. I'm going to start almost immediately. 3, 2, 1, go. And away we go. I try to set this up so I can actually, so you guys actually get a better setup. How's it going? Oh, it works. Okay, it works. I think everything's gonna be okay. So, um, first I just want to try and get my framing down okay. Um, Something like that. Like that. Okay. Ooh, that's such a great angle. One of the things you have to do is try and figure out what angle to commit to. Oh, so beautiful. These are eyes. The Trilobite's eyes are really special. They're made out of crystal, incredibly detailed. Hopefully you guys can see me. You can. Fantastic. I've got like that light on the tip of it. I'm gonna do my very best to replicate. The line is so beautiful, and this nose that just like is proud and like sticks out of the rock there. Great job on this excavation. Whoever did that. Fantastic. Now I just want to try and outline these areas. Oh man. And then of course sorry guys. It's the speckles. Fine speckles. Just trying to figure out just dedication. So over here, I'll represent them like that. And then once we get in a little bit, I'll represent them like that. A couple different applications of style, and we get a pretty decent effect going on here. First eye is so beautiful. Pretty good. Starting to break in that first segment. And the second right behind it. Here from the eye, we sort of have a sweeping line that comes down. And then captures around into this eye. And I'm trailing color. Got this sort of ledge on the eye here. I'm just doing my best to try and hit the dark spaces, leave the light spaces alone. That's the number one priority at this point. But man, I just think these things are so beautiful. And sketching something that's like what 300 million years old or something. About that. Yeah, how cool is that? It just doesn't exist anymore. But I'm doing my best to try and preserve it. Here, of course, again, we need our dots. Keep our textures going properly. Make sure everything in the eyes is as accurate as possible. And then we're getting into the sort of space around the eye. Around the eye, like over here. And it comes around down like that, and then behind it, same sort of deal. And we gotta can. I think over here. Something like that. But then there's like a break south of it as well. Ooh, into something like that. Oh, I love this piece. Here we go. Just trying to be as respectful of the Trilobite as possible and get as accurate a rendering of this ancient and beautiful animal as we can. I love the way, so the rest of these plates, each one seems to like fuse into the next, and that's the sort of patterning that's really important to try and spot. Even if it is a bit of a challenge sometimes to execute. Okay, so I need to make sure my shaping doesn't get off. Okay, so come down. This has got to be the edge of my rock. I made a error on the rock scale there. I love this like super sharp edge we have from the rock going on, and then because of the light, we have, how's the light? Pretty good. Because of the light over here, we have this beautiful diffuse shadow. Oh, so beautiful. Just gonna try and get that however I can. Start very faint with it. And then come in deeper and darker in the center section. Still trying to maintain the faintness throughout. But I love a good diffuse shadow. How's that? That's looking pretty good to me, pretty solid. At least from this one angle that I'm really, must admit at this point, kind of doubling down on. Start trying to throw in some of these details from the edge of the rock here. Right now, this is this poor creature's home. At one point, it roamed the ocean beds, but now it lives in rock. That's not my finest line there, but coming over here, say. Just piece by piece. Just try to mark out as much as we can so that it always ends up working out. I need to make sure I've got good spaces, good pieces. Come back over to the nose here. Gotta bring the shading down. How are we doing on time? We're almost at 10 minutes. I'm not sure if this is the best use of every moment. the Trilobite's nose is pretty important, right? Yeah, there we are. Coming around on the edges here. Something like that. This time we gotta establish there's different pieces of separation in the different parts and joints of the trilobite. For example, this under nose piece. What's my actual view? Something like that. So one of the challenges, there's these white lines separating the specimen. One of the challenges is how to best portray that. Right now I'm thinking about it, but I can't admit, but I'm not really addressing it very actively at this stage. In fact, what I'm noticing now is that my shape here has started to go awry already, so we're going to fix that. Very important to get this back shape right. These aren't random bumps. I'm trying to accurately represent every bump that's in the specimen. Okay. And then that being my final sort of demarking. Okay. So now we have that sort of set up. And the glory of that is it gives us a line for that rock, which we wanted to complete. Shift the dimensions of the rock a tiny bit to be in our favor, but overall, and then something like this. I don't really want to do this whole thing because this is not what this exercise is about. It's about the trilobite. But I do, near the region of high detail here, I do want to make sure I don't have this like sudden astonishing loss of detail. So come along, and I'm going to make this side black. It just takes a little bit of patience here. Finish blending the color. First it doesn't work out, but after a moment, boom, and now here. Gotta establish some identity, but outside that, that's just not as important. Okay. There we go. Some basic stuff. The angles here are actually really tricky. So just kind of like darn. let's come back to our moment of focus and start trying to inscribe some of these different lines in the rock here. This section where it comes towards, yeah. And I'm not quite sure how to depict these internal ones yet. I'm thinking maybe something like that. And then I want to make sure the sweep is sort of preserved, this attractive sweep. That's quite sharp right over there. So yeah, just piece by piece. Okay, so I also need to come down here. Reestablish this line. Probably important. Ideally, that would be a single strong line. I'm feeling strong, so that's not a strong line. Outline that too. Stronger. Yeah, closer. Better. Piece by piece. Okay, so the reason I had to do that is because I really want this little piece of shadow sort of outlined under here. Right there. Right there. It's not much. I don't know why I like it so much, but these gentle pieces of shadow down here. Just think you're special. Okay. Preserve, 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 and away we go. So this line is a little too wide, but that line is pretty great. And along that line, of course, we have all sorts of damage, except for right here for some reason, not in the way. And then again, we have different sections of the rock being taken up. So this is the superior line. I have to extend my rock markings over to there, essentially. And then on this side, we can start just trying to like chisel in some of that rock-looking texture, you know. Just give it some life and edge. All right. So glad I don't want to draw the rest of that cap down there. How are we doing on time here? 18 minutes. So this is pretty good progress for 18 minutes, at least I think. Make sure I actually hit the record button. That would be fun. Good. If you never see this, then I didn't hit the record button. Doing my best out here. Continue. So why am I focusing on these regions? Well, often they're just the parts that get ignored. Also, they allow me to relax a little bit and start setting some conventions, figuring out some of the things on the bottom of the rock here where ultimately if it goes really wrong or started to go wrong, I could just start shading and nobody would be too worried about anything. It would look fine. But ideally, if I can try and figure out a couple different techniques to bulk it out and get us thinking about this surface and this edge and trying to draw out what's attractive and interesting about it. You know, there's like little pieces of dust and things over here. We're just trying to do our best to portray things. Give them form and structure and wealth. But of course, with time running out, the focus does have to be on the actual trilobite. 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 So first, before time actually runs out, I think I like that technique. For depicting the area in between all of these different pieces. That's what I enjoy. I think this particular jagged edge looks pretty strong. And at this point, I'm not even following, I just gotta trust. I'm following the exact contours. I'm sure I'm not gonna finish this particular, but even just having an idea of what it looks like established on the image somewhere, your brains kind of fill in. It's nice. Alright, so this is starting to look pretty good. I'm gonna come right from that direction because I think I want that edge to be the dark one. And now that I've started to get a little more used to this edge, I'm just gonna throw it in here and there a little bit so that I have some hint of it to go off of, and then same sort of deal. Bring in just a little bit of the shading, especially if I can start covering this little line I don't like very much. But again, distracting from the grand attraction here. Mr. Trilobite. Okay. Focusing back on the source of all misery and pain here. Okay. We got a very clean pygidium that is very dark and cuts out from the, and then it breaks into this one. I don't actually know what these individual segments would be called. Somebody, I'm sure, has a funky name for them. Every part of the trilobite has been funkily named. Trying to pay attention again. These guys they're very deliberate. Nature's quite deliberate with this stuff. I would really like to capture some of these sharp lines, though. Maybe that does it. Maybe not. I don't know. And then here's our collection point, and it breaks again into another nice scale. Okay. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm quite getting the tone or texture that I totally want here. But on the other hand, it is a trilobite, and I'm running out of time. Ow! Ooh, I smacked my elbow. Thanks. Let's switch edges now that I have more of a. So should I approach the back? Yes, approach the back kind of like that. And then 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna try and flush it out that way a little bit. I think that's sort of where things are at. But of course, yes, this line has gotten a little out of whack, but you can just make it out. And I think this is going to be okay in the end. All right. Okay, please, please, please. So I want to try and yes, it's working. It's working. Well, we'll find out soon if it's working. But the idea is to try and now we've got those white parts sort of catch that. I don't know why I'm looking up there. The trilobite is in front of me, and then it comes into the edge like that. Ba-bang. that gives me that nice effect. Okay, what should I say? Accurately represents the subsection of a real bay. Okay. Habit just takes my eyes to the screen. Um, and here I am trying my hardest. Make that edge a little bolder, and away we go. And so hopefully by applying this logic fruitfully, I will be able to ignore the fact that I don't have exactly the right proportions, and I don't have exactly the right setup on the Trilobite. And I know these things are small issues, but that's the sort of thing that we're thinking of. We're trying to focus on. It's like, what sacrifices am I making in order to get this as good as possible in the sort of time that I have? And as you can see, so I'm treading off onto the rock again, as probably shouldn't be, but the reasoning for that is I just want to keep extending the detail. Another 4 minutes, okay. Stay focused. These are smooth segments, but they do get sort of like compounded into each other, which is kind of amazing. Okay, pretty brave, pretty brave. Trying to preserve some of the strokes. You can see it's like excavated out of rock. It's so cool, man. So cool. Okay. And then just keep on adding in the piece. So it's just spreading some of the techniques that I have gained around on this thing in order to solve the problems of like what it looks like. The basic issue for me right now is that I still have a very large difference in color and appearance between how I want the Trilobite sort of darkness to appear versus the rest of the rock. So to fix that, going in, and I'm trying to add the impression that it's a much darker object than it is with the shading, as opposed to necessarily going in and absolutely making every dark bit darker, if that makes any sense. Okay, not just like shading it all or shading all the highlights down or something. And in fact, that's very explicitly what I'm trying to avoid doing. I want my highlights to remain, and I want these nice sharp lines and things that I'm throwing in to still be there. But I also do want to give the impression that this is some different type of object. So very gently, very carefully, gotta figure this out piece by piece. I'm just gonna, this highlight I think I am gonna scratch. See how it looks. Ooh, okay. I don't want to do that too much. I think if I do it every now and then, it's gonna look good. It's gonna make the whole thing darken. Okay, so if I do it like over here, here and over here. Things are getting darker anyway. And then I gotta carry through the logic of the piece. Over here. And that's 30 minutes on the dot right there. So there's a lot left to do, I think. But I'm pretty happy with that for half an hour of work. You should do this too. It's huge fun. It's great exercise. This image is there. This video is 30 minutes. Just do it along with me. Have a great time. Thank you so much for being here, and have wherever you are.